Welcome, my friends of the interwebs. I am going to offer up a range report on this SIG SAUER Mosquito. This is the one I bought Crystal Blade for Christmas last year. And I've put a fair amount of rounds through it. Today, I've probably shot about 200, maybe 250 rounds. A lot. I put a lot of rounds through it today. And the one thing positive that I will say about this gun is that this particular mosquito will eat anything you feed it. I have fed it some really shitty ammo and it's never freaking failed. 200 rounds for any, to be honest with you, for any rimfire handgun is pretty good without a failure. 250 even, I think. I mean, a lot of rounds. It is dirty, of course. I mean, that's one of the reasons that that's a lot of rounds. But having said all of that, the reason I said this mosquito is because I've seen enough reports from people that will say that their mosquitoes will not eat cheap ammo. It will not. This one will. So, I guess lucky. As far as the sights go, I like the sights on this gun. They're kind of a day glow. They're really easy to acquire your target. The downside is this is not the most accurate gun I've ever shot. Although, once you get it dialed in, I've been sitting here shooting steel. Once you get it dialed in, you're going to hit what you're aiming at every time. That's just a fact. But having said that, I am literally used to shooting a much better trigger. The trigger on this mosquito is horrid. Absolutely horrid. I do not understand why SIG would bring this trigger out on this gun with what they charge. The price point, this is not the cheapest .22 handgun that you can buy in the market. So SIG must be pretty proud of their name if they're going to put that kind of a price on a gun that has a shitty trigger. The trigger is shitty. It's got a lot of mush. It literally will not fire until it's all the way to the rear. And even then, it's not very crisp at all. This is a gun that, you know, if it was $100 cheaper, I would recommend it to anybody if it was $100 cheaper. But at the current price that SIG gets for these guns, I wouldn't buy one. Honest to God, I wouldn't do it. If I had it to do all over again, I probably would have gotten a Walther. Now, you know, I've heard some bad reports on the Walthers too. But for the most part, I think that, to be honest with you, it gets better reports than the SIG does. So, actually, for the money that I paid for this, there's a lot of guns I would have probably got. But, you know, you live, you learn. I like SIG. I like my SIGs. I don't necessarily like this SIG. But I do like my SIGs. Of course, my SIGs are pretty expensive SIGs. It's the thing that bothers me about this, honestly, is that it wasn't a cheap gun. I don't remember what I paid for it, and it was over $400. And there was just other options that I wish I would have went with. Now, in Lucas Tactical's defense, because he did try to talk me out of buying this gun, he did say it was pretty much a shit gun. But, you know, I didn't listen to him. I did not listen to him. So it is what it is. But, you know, the positives about this gun, this particular gun here has never been problematic as far as ammo. Which is a good thing because I have a whole lot of that ammo. You know, and CCI ammo is hard to come by these days. A lot of people report that they can only shoot CCIs out of their SIG mosquitoes. I don't know how true that is. All I know is my experience with this gun is that it will shoot anything. So that's the good news. The bad news is the trigger is god-awful. It is just god-awful. And SIG, if you run across this video, fix your trigger on the mosquitoes. For what you charge, there's no excuse for having this kind of a shitty trigger on it, period. Now, if anybody knows if there's an aftermarket that I could do on this trigger to make it better, I'd like to know, because to be honest with you, this is just not a fun gun to shoot because of the trigger. For a shooter, for a real shooter, for a little kid maybe. You know, but I got this for Crystal Blade, and she's be turning 20 here pretty soon, and she's not a little kid anymore, and she's actually becoming a pretty good shooter. And so she's kind of already in less than a year outgrown this thing. Oh, anyway, that's all I got. That is my range report, you know, for what it's worth. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you've got a mosquito, let me know what you think of it. Like I said, if you know some kind of a trigger job that could be done on this thing to improve the trigger. I mean, I don't want to put $500 into the trigger. You know, actually, my advice to Krista, and I know she's not going to like to hear this, because this gun has a lot of sentimental value to her, because it was her first handgun, and I bought it for her for Christmas. My advice to Krista is to sell it. To sell it, you know, and put that money towards something a little better. That's my advice. So, anyway, that's all I got. Everybody take care. See ya.